Okay, let's watch. Let's watch, guys. We have to get it rocking and rolling. This is titled Candace Reads Steven Crowder His Rights. Dude, she's so condescending.
Guys, it's Thursday, and the question of the day today is, are women ruining the workplace?
Sorry. I'm really sorry. That was the last thing I was expecting. 5 seconds in, what a start. What an incredible beginning. Are they ruining the workplace? Well, I'm going to go for a yes. I think women ruin everything, so they have to be ruining the workplace. But let's see what Candace Owens has to say.
Or are we enriching it? Is it wonderful now that women can work alongside men? Have things gotten better? I'm asking you that question seriously, and I want you to think about it, and I want you to be honest with yourself. Plus, later on in the show, I'm going to be addressing that Steven Crowder video, because it would be kind of ridiculous if I didn't address it, since it's all anybody's talking about. All that and more today coming up on Candace Owens. So how did the discussion come up? Well, we were talking about what schools to send our son to. We obviously eventually have to have that talk. Well, what kind of a education do we want our children to have? There's so many things to
I feel like if you're a rich person, you just pick like the best school. Like what? Just pay for the best private school. What do you mean?
Consider, especially now that we live in Woketopia. You have to be
Woketopia. Woketopia. Incredible. I want to see a remake of Zootopia, except it's just a bunch of woke people of color and gay people.
And my husband, who grew up in England and attended an all-boys school for most of his life, wants to send him overseas because boarding school, I guess, is much more natural for people in Europe. Whereas in America, I'm like, no, my child needs to come home every single day after school.
I do actually agree with this. I think sending your kids to boarding school is crazy. I mean, it's probably really convenient, right? Because you're like, oh, finally, I don't have to look at this kid. But like, what if your kid gets bullied, you know? You can't even be there for them. If I went to like a middle boarding, I don't know, whatever the term is, I would have been so depressed. Like, I actually would have been unbelievably depressed. Because I got bullied like crazy. I did not have friends in school. I needed anyone else to be my friend. And like, obviously, your siblings don't really have a choice in being your friend or not. But anyways, I think that the current, not the current education system, but I think the education system where you get to see your kid every day, I agree.
He mentioned to me the school, you may have heard of it obviously, Eton College, which is where Prince Harry and most of the royals attended, as well as St. Paul's School in the UK. They are very high-ranked schools for education. And they are also all-boys schools. And when we had a discussion, I said, I don't want my child to go to an all-boys school. And I said my reasons were a little ridiculous. Maybe they weren't ridiculous, but I just said, I feel like that's all good and fine until they kind of get into middle school. And then it's sort of weird. I feel like once they go through puberty, they should be around the opposite sex. Because what do they do if they're not around the opposite sex? Do they all just start liking each other? Maybe that's English. Maybe it's
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy, man. Wow. That is crazy. Like, I don't doubt that probably if you went to an all-girls school or an all-boys school, you might be more likely to try being gay. You might be more curious about it, but it's not going to make a straight kid gay. It just means that that kid was already gay or bi, right? Like, the school is not making him gay. That's so crazy, dude. That's insane, man. Oh my goodness. I agree that I think that like young boys should be socializing with young girls, but I only think that because I think it helps counter like a lot of misogynistic ideas. I think if you have even like one girl that you are friends with as a kid, it helps a little, but I feel like it's a lot easier to like go full incel-y and start thinking that like, oh, women are like, they're so different. We will never understand women. How do they work? You know, it's like, what are you talking? We're not like magnets, dude. We're just people. And I think having constant exposure to girls and women as you're growing up will help ground you to remind yourself that like, oh yes, women are still people. Okay. But I don't know if there's any good data that shows that like boys that go to boarding school turn out to be more misogynistic than boys who don't. I genuinely don't know.
And then my husband offered back that the reason why these schools are so good and why the children come out so academically accomplished is because there are no distractions. When you have men with men and you have women with women, they are able to focus on their work, to focus on their academics, and it allows...
Do they know that Fortnite exists? Because I'm going to tell you, the thing keeping me from focusing in school was video games. And I'm pretty sure boarding school doesn't remove video games. So I don't think the opposite sex has ever like done this to someone. That's weird. And also, this seems like a very short term solution. What happens when they leave school and then they have to be in like a workplace? Or like, what about like their neighbors? Like, what is going on? I really don't like the mystifying of the opposite sex. I hate this, like, I'm a man and I don't know anything about women. They're so mysterious. Or like, I'm a woman. Can someone help me with my man problems? Like, we're just people. We're just people. Oh my God, stop. This is so cringe.
I thought that was a very interesting argument, but what I offered back to him was, okay, but they're gonna have to be able to contend with those distractions, obviously, because once they graduate and get out into the real world, well, there you go. There's women in the workplace. Better to learn it early than to be shocked by the presence of women when you're done with your schooling. Then, of course, I thought to myself, women in the workplace. What about that one? Are we a distraction? Do you guys think we're a distraction? And the more I thought about it, I thought, yeah, we kind of are a distraction. If you think about work in general, if you think about what men have to do when they go to work now, it's essentially just a bunch of landmines.
Bro, there's all these landmines at my job. Like, so apparently, landmine, if you grope your coworker's ass, that counts as sexual assault. Women just don't know how to take compliments nowadays. Like, I was grabbing it because it looked good. The reality is, it doesn't matter how distracted men are. Women deserve the right to work, okay? I don't give a fuck how horny you get because there's a woman existing around you. Women have the right, or should have the right, to work a job. I'm sorry, dude, but that's just the way that I feel. That's just the way I feel. Is it an argument? But okay. Did you ignore the part where I said people should be treated equally? And even if you get distracted by some other woman's boobs, that doesn't mean she should be forced to not work a job anymore. No, you guys don't understand. Women are always wrong, okay? Because women are stupid and they're dumb. Okay. All right, back to the video. Someone mentioned that like this logo is so ugly. I really fucking hate it. I just realized that it is her logo. It's like the Candace Owens logo. It's so ugly, dude. I bet she overpaid like thousands of dollars for this and she's like, fuck, now I have to use this ugly ass shit.
A man's world. Yes, I agree. And by the way, I want to make it clear, I am not making an argument that women should not have the right to work. I'm not saying that whatsoever, but I am acknowledging that things have gotten worse at work since women joined.
I am begging conservatives to just learn what correlation is. Listen, honestly, Candace Owens is pretty smart, and I know she's doing this all as a grift. It's completely 100% a grift. However, like, I am just begging them to just stop doing this, dude. Like, just because conditions have gotten worse for people over time, you can't just randomly pick a thing that happened and be like, oh, this is the reason why. What I don't understand is like, they always quote that one study that shows that like men and women have had declining happiness over the past like few decades, but they like none of the people who've done these studies say that this is because women join the workplace. Like literally none of them. You know what has happened in that same period of time, guys? This has happened in that same period of time. It's almost like wages have stagnated like crazy, and when you make like half the money that you're supposed to make, you're going to not be living as well. I think people's financial comfort has a lot to do with their happiness than whether or not women are in their workplace. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be real.
Men are having to deal with all these landmines everywhere. Do I say something? Do I not say something? I have to be careful on how I speak to this person because she's a woman. She might see this as some sort of an assault. Oh, do I tell her she looks nice today, or is she going to think that that's inappropriate? Is it appropriate? Especially in the post-Me Too era, forget it. Do I say anything to her? Well, if I don't say anything to her, well, she's going to say that I'm ignoring her because I'm a man.
This person doesn't exist. The woman that gets angry at like nothing, it doesn't exist, dog. I'm sorry.
If I say something to her, she's going to say I'm only speaking to her because I'm a man. I mean, I couldn't even imagine the internal dialogue that men must be having at work at all times.
You should take your own advice then, Candace Owens. You should quit. You should quit from the Daily Wire because that's what you're causing everyone around you to think. I just don't understand why you're such a hypocrite, Candace. I just don't get it. Do you have your husband's permission to be speaking right now? I'm just saying because those are your principles. So I feel like you should abide by your principles.
And I laugh because this year, the Daily Wire had a Christmas party, and I didn't go for separate reasons, but I found out that the Christmas party was dry. I thought to myself, Why is it a dry party? Who ruined it, right? Who ruined it? Why is there a dry
Women ruined it.
party? Everybody knows Christmas parties are not supposed to be dry. Supposed to have a great time with all of your colleagues. Everyone gets ridiculously drunk, and it's the one time a year that you can do that. All of your work all year, and then you look forward to the holiday season so that you and all of the office employees and office colleagues can get drunk. But no, now, similar to Daily Wire, a bunch of corporations are saying, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Well, why are they saying let's not do that? I don't know for sure, but probably because they're avoiding traps, right?
They're avoiding traps. You know, what I don't understand is that, like, conservatives are always the first ones to be like, personal responsibility, bootstraps, personal responsibility. And then as soon as it comes to, like, not harassing people, they're like, well, it was out of my control. You know, things get crazy when I have too many Jamesons. What can I say? It's like, what happened to personal responsibility? Why are we blaming women for this? That's crazy. Because you couldn't keep your hands to yourself? That's her fault? What in the world, dude? What is going on, dude?
Women and there's men, and things could happen. Natural things in the wild. Men and women start flirting. Girls get a little loose, and they start being a little appropriate. And then suddenly men look around and go, oh, it's an opportunity. I've always thought she was cute. I always thought she was kind of cute. Let me go talk to her. But then what if it goes wrong? And then the next day, you just have an HR nightmare. So it's easier to say, you know what, guys, do what you do on your spare time. But at work, you have to keep it professional. You guys know what I'm talking about.
As it should be. What? Work should be for work. I'm going to say it, chat. There is no universe where I think you should date coworkers. I think if you really want to ask a coworker out, you should try to move to a different department first. You just don't shit where you eat, bro. Because when and if you have a breakup, it's not going to be pleasant, okay? Because here's the thing. Maybe you're someone who is like capable of like breaking up with other people in a clean way. That is not the case for other people, okay? Oh my god. I've tried to be friends with all my exes because I don't like losing friendships just because I didn't think you were the person to date. They were very upset. They're like, I need you out of my life completely. I can't. It's not you. It's me. Like I just can't be around this. And I'm like, there was no harm occurring. We just realized we're not the right people for each other. So what's the problem? It's like, no, you don't understand. I can't. It's too hard. And I'm like, that's crazy. And those experiences have colored my like workplace experiences where I'm like, I will never, if I ever join like a professional workforce again, I will never shit where I eat because that is crazy. I just don't get it. So you'd never date a streamer? Honestly, high key, I don't think I would ever date a streamer. That sounds like a nightmare. Are you kidding me? Oh my God.
I think that women enrich the lives of men when they come together in marriage, enrich the lives of men in the households. I believe that households are, when there was just a man, he's by himself, then he gets married, suddenly the households are more alive. There's like light and laughter and color. And there's like a darkness when men just live by themselves. The bachelor pads just seem so bland.
Huh? This is so toxic, bro. Just let people live alone. Whoa, that's so mean. Like, yeah, I think having other people's company is really cool, but like you also don't have to live in a bachelor pad. I know plenty of people who like have roommates and stuff. They like have like a 3-4 person roommate for like a big house. And I think you get like the same like livelihood and the same like wholesome energy or whatever. I don't see why if you live by yourself as a man, you're living in darkness.
But at the workplace, a little bit of tiptoe and eggshells going on. And what's funny about this discussion is that I then created an imaginary world in my head, like I often do. And I said, okay, well, what if you had a scenario where we just agreed that just like those schools my husband's talking about, you just said, okay, all men work in the office together. That's already existed, so we know that works. And then now women can only work with women. That would be a disaster.
Why is she weird like this, dude? What is wrong with her? Like, I just don't know. I want to figure out. Like, that's such a weird thing to say. I don't get how you can say something like that and you're not joking. There are plenty of instances of women being very accomplished, really fine if women work together, actually.
Women would kill each other. We know this. Mean Girls is real life. We know that movie.
I'm going to start quoting works of fiction to prove why I'm allowed to hate men. Like, that's what I'm going to start doing, okay? Like, men cannot be around each other. Men cannot work with each other because in the book Lord of the Flies, they literally killed each other. So I think we need to lock men at home. They have been responsible for like 90%, if not more, of the wars. They've also been the reason why we've had so many mass shootings, and most serial killers are men, and we should put chastity belts on them. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, you can't just make up political theories based on like works of fiction. You insane motherfucker. Oh my God, that's crazy, dude.
Female culture. We attack each other all the time. So we don't flourish on our own in workspaces, and we certainly don't lend to workplaces in terms of the social environment flourishing. I'm not talking about the work. I'm talking about the social environment which suffers women are there. So it's this weird thing to consider. It's just this weird idea that I had. And then I saw this post on Reddit, and I want to read it to you because it really just backs up what I'm saying.
No, not the Reddit post, chat. Not the Reddit post.
This is, by the way, in the category on Reddit, which is referred to as "Am I the A-hole?" And people post anonymously.
Listen, I will say this one thing. She's very charismatic on a camera. She knows how to really appeal to her boomers. Like, she knows that the majority of like conservatives are going to be older people, because the sad reality is that like that's just how it is. Those people grew up eating lead paint, bro. They were set up to fail. They literally had asbestos in everything and lead in everything. Like, they weren't even given the full tools. There's a reason those people have always been as conservative as they have been. They were conservative when they were living in the 60s, and they were conservative in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, in the 2000s. It's because they didn't have much to work with the entire time, okay? Eating lead paint as a kid is like one of the worst things you can do to your brain. You have to understand, boomers, like, they did not get, like, they got the short end of the stick, okay, chat? They grew up eating lead paint, okay? They had asbestos in everything, okay? Secondhand smoke all the time, okay, because people smoked all the time, and I promise you, all of their parents smoked, so they were inhaling all that shit, and the smog. They did not catch a break, okay? They literally did not catch a break. It was leaded gasoline. Oh, yeah. It's really sad. It's really sad. Also, drinking and smoking during pregnancy was pretty normal, too. I mean, think about it. If you were, like, a housewife, and you didn't want to be a housewife, and you had someone who really wanted kids, and this is back when, like, spousal rape was still legal, I'll be honest, dude, I'd be smoking and drinking too. But, okay, all right, moving on.
And they just ask the audiences, hey, am I the a-hole for this? Or am I crazy? I don't think I'm the a-hole, but could I be the a-hole? I'm a little confused.
That is such a clippable section, dude.
Posted, and this was this week, guys. Ready? Am I the a-hole for listening to my coworker use the bathroom? He says, so a bit of a backstory first. I have IBS, that's irritable bowel syndrome. As such, I have been in my fair share of uncomfortable situations at work where I've needed to use the bathroom. I do find it to be quite embarrassing when it does happen, but I have a method I follow that seems to work well. First, I will find an empty bathroom if possible. Then I flush the toilet simultaneously as I'm going to mask any sounds and or smells. I apologize if this is TMI. I have noticed that some people at work have pretty much zero shame while using the bathroom. They will release gas, have explosive diarrhea, etc., without trying to cover it up in the slightest. Whereas I am the type of person who will sit there and try to wait.
I'm pretty sure that's just like a normal thing that like most people, especially Americans, deal with. You just have some toilet anxiety. That's on you to fix, buddy. Be like, it doesn't matter that these people can hear me peeing. It doesn't matter. It's actually completely normal. Americans are very prudish, I think. Like, they're very embarrassed to, like, exist as people. I don't know how to explain it. So much embarrassment around, like, peeing. So much embarrassment around, like, pooping. Embarrassment around, like, being naked. Which is the weirdest thing. Being embarrassed about having a human body is so silly. You're just a person, you know? Well-adjusted Americans still have these, like, prudish problems. And it really is not, it doesn't matter.
I work in a very professional environment, and I would just be absolutely mortified if a coworker knew it was me blowing up the bathroom. Although at times I do wish that I just didn't care.
Just go to therapy, girl. It's okay. Just go to therapy. You actually don't have to deal with that.
This brings me to early last week. I was using the restroom when someone came in and started to have a loud episode on the toilet. I guess you could say I was overcome with curiosity because as I was washing my hands, I decided to stick around in the bathroom to wait for this person to come out of the stall. I was genuinely curious who this could be with just no embarrassment regarding their audible.
That is so weird. You're not like an asshole, but you're definitely weird. For sure. Like, that is a weird thing to do. Out of kindness for the other person, I wash my hands. I'm going to leave. You deserve that privacy, okay? You were going through it, okay? I get it. You thought the Taco Bell was a good idea and it wasn't. I understand. I'm providing you that comfort, okay? That's what you deserve. Also, were they like smelling this shit? Like, I don't understand. Why would you do also like on like a personal level? I hate being in bathrooms, you know? I don't want to smell someone else's literal feces. Like, I'm good. But like, this person's like, I was so impressed. I was so curious. Who could this be? And they're sitting there like, what is that? Oh my God. Wow. What a cologne. Like, get out. Ew.
I stood in front of the mirror, pretended to fix my hair and whatnot until they came out. Turns out it was a girl on a team adjacent to mine. We had been friendly in the past, but I don't know her very well. As she came out of the stall, I started to make small talk with her. I ended up saying something along the lines of, you too, huh? To which she seemed confused. I then elaborated on the whole IBS ordeal. To be honest with you, I was just kind of looking to connect with someone that shares similar issues to me. She was nice about it, but a bit reserved, which I get. Well, a few days later, I found myself essentially being scolded by my manager in HR. Apparently, this girl felt that I was being rude and intrusive.
Dude, just because someone be shitting doesn't mean that they have IBS, okay? I know many people, okay? I have known many people who have just had it's just when they go to the bathroom, it's just a nightmare in there. And I have nothing but respect for those brave warriors, okay? I have had to fight for my life on the toilet before and it was not fun. It's actually been really exciting becoming an adult. I found out you can just take fiber pills. What does this have to do with women in the workplace though? This has, by the way, nothing to do with like women in the, yeah, this is just like one person being a little intrusive to another person. Like, would you like it if you were shitting on a toilet and it was just loud? And then there's a person waiting for you and they're like, you too, huh? Yeah, I was listening to you shit. I have IBS. I get it. I do think that the other person didn't need to call HR and this was a little silly, but still, that's weird to do.
But some of my other coworkers have gotten wind of the situation and are now calling me out and think that I'm an a-hole for harassing someone in the bathroom. I feel like this whole thing has been blown out of proportion, and now I'm feeling embarrassed and awkward, and my coworkers have been acting weird around me. Also, not sure if this matters or not, but this all took place in a gender-neutral restroom. Am I really an a-hole for this? That is.
So is that a dude? Was that a dude doing that? Oh, that's even worse. Oh gosh.
You can tell by the context because you're reading this. He's like, to my surprise, it was a girl in the restroom. I want to know if this is a gender-neutral restroom. Very clearly, he is a guy, and he was startled to see that a girl was making this much noise in the bathroom.
That's so weird. Oh my God, that's even weirder. Because like, I understand like it's just different. I don't know how else to explain it, but I feel like from like one woman to another woman, it's like, oh man, I fucking feel that. That sucks. But like, oh man, I would never do that to like someone of the opposite gender. I don't think I would ever do that. Oh man. Also in general, why would you do that to anyone, by the way? Like, oh, that's so weird.
While I laugh at this scenario, first and foremost, it is a commentary on the ridiculous nature of gender-neutral bathrooms. I said it over and over again. I don't want to be in a male space. Men do not want to be in a women's space in a bathroom. I think men bathrooms smell horrific.
Listen, men's bathrooms are gross. Like, I remember I had a few traumatic experiences walking into the men's bathroom and meaning to walk into the women's bathroom as like a teenager. And I don't know what is wrong with you people. One of the times that I went in, there was literally feces in the urinal. Like, I don't understand. Like, who? Why would you do that? Like, genuinely, that is weird. That's so weird. And maybe it was just my school. I don't know. There was someone who apparently they had to close the whole bathroom because they smeared shit on the walls. Like, who is doing this? But women's bathrooms were really gross too, okay? They were not good either, man, okay? There were many a time that I went in and I did not see pleasant things, okay? They're not good. Just any public bathrooms that don't get cleaned frequently enough are gonna look bad. And for some reason, I don't know who these women are, but there are some women who, despite all the warnings and all the times they've seen the sign, they still try and flush menstrual products. Why? Why are you clogging the toilet? How many times do you have to read, do not flush this? I don't get it. I genuinely don't understand. Anyways, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everyone who was just like having breakfast and eating. I'm so sorry. We're going to go back to the video.
when you decide to be woke and create gender neutral spaces where people are not allowed to have privacy based on their own genders. And it's especially necessary for pregnant women, but again, forget that part. Let's get back to his story. So it's very obvious he's talking about a woman that came up, and you can just in me just see the differences. There's just these underlying differences between men and women. Men are comfortable with bathroom talk as a rule, as a rule.
I think most men who go to the bathroom wouldn't have filed a report because someone said you too when they were violently shitting. But I don't know if I know any dudes who are interested in having discussions about how loud their shit was to a stranger. The bathroom is like the most uncomfortable place to have a conversation. Exactly.
Had she have been a man that walked out and he made a joke about how loud he was, it would have been fine, and this situation would have never made it to HR. Because it was a woman who did this and walked out and saw a man who heard her do this, who made a comment. She was positively mortified and she was embarrassed. And so what did she do because she was mortified and embarrassed? Rather than dealing with, maybe just saying to him, like, hey, listen, like, that's weird, don't say that to me. She brought it all the way to HR. In fact, she's so embarrassed and so mortified, she's potentially wants this person to be fired.
So why does the Daily Wire hire you?
Because she finds it to be inappropriate. By the way, I think it's inappropriate that you brought this up with her. I think it's like, who waits to see something out of the
Sweet, she
restroom?
even admits that it's weird. Wait, that's how can she admit that both like the guy is weird and that she probably didn't need to file like an HR report and then extrapolates that into, well, women can't be in the same workforce as men because like two people, like one person was weird and another person maybe overreacted a little bit. No, he waited for 15 minutes? I would go to HR, actually. I'm sorry, I would go to HR. I changed my mind completely. I literally completely changed my mind. I'm sorry. If there was a dude waiting for 15 minutes to talk to me about my shit, that's so weird. Okay, actually, wait, that's actually really weird. I thought it was like maybe he waited like 2 minutes or something. That's weird. That's weird. I bet she was literally like sitting in there waiting for him to leave. And then for him to comment about it, basically solidifying in her head that he was waiting for her to finish shitting. When you go into a bathroom, this should be your priority. Go in, do your business. Immediately after, flush the toilet, maybe wipe down the seat. I don't know how much of a decent human being you are. Wash your hands, dry them, and then leave. That's it. That's it. What's the reason for why women like to go to the bathroom together? I don't actually know. Like, I'm going to be honest. All I know is that when other women are going to the bathroom, I want to go too. It's just fun. It's great. And like a lot of like bars have like cool bathrooms. So usually like the lights are nice and the camera's nice. So you can get some cool pictures, And then you don't have to be judged by anyone because you're like, oh, look, these women, they just want to take pictures everywhere. So you get to all do it together for like the memories. You know what I mean? I just like doing it because it's fun. That's it. I think it's fun to have a bathroom buddy. Oh gosh.
Probably a male. I think it's inappropriate, but it is not worthy of raising this situation to AR. This is not a level of harassment. It's just men being men. You see these situations over and over again. The woman does not understand the man does not understand the woman, and we have these underlying differences, right? And women can see harm where men see no harm, right? Which, again, brings us back to the question, are women ruining workplaces? How many men have lost their job over something as ridiculous as bathroom talk? It's wrong. And it happens over and over again. So
that's crazy that you would use like the most insane example as a way to like defend why men and women can't work together. That's insane. That's actually crazy. That's crazy to me.
The girl that she looks beautiful and she misreads it. Who knows?
Like, because a guy waited 15 minutes for this chick to get out to tell her, oh, you poop too? That's the reason why women and men can't work together? That's the reason?
These circumstances are only happening because we are bringing together men and women in the workplace. So my opinion is yes, women are ruining the workplace. There is less laughter. There is less joking. We are not enriching it by any means, because if we were enriching it and we were able to take a joke, which some women are, I've always been that woman, they would take a joke. I understand the differences between the sexes and the talk and all that stuff.
Not her being a pick-me, dude. Nah, bro. Nah, dude. A pick-me? Really? No way, dude. Come on.
I also have the confidence that's what makes me uncomfortable. I'm just going to tell you to your face. I don't need to run to HR. I'll give you a really stern warning and say, that was weird. Don't do it again, loser. Maybe a little loser. Maybe I'll give him a little swirly in that bathroom. I don't know.
Is she talking about Ben Shapiro? Is this what she does to Ben Shapiro at work? Poor Ben Shapiro. No. Oh, poor Benny boy is getting swirlies at the Daily Wire bathroom. This is so sad.
Or that now we are forced to work together because it's, I guess the dream. Women want to slave at work and abandon the household.
You literally have a job. You literally have a job in the labor force. Why don't you quit your job then?
Happens due to fourth wave, third wave, and second wave feminism. And I think we're worse for it. I think women would be much happier. I am much happier at home.
If you're happier at home, then why are you here? Make it make sense to me, please.
Talk. And that's all I have to say about that.